15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto, Ron, Elvis, and the Lay Poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here, now your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. Really excited for tonight's episode. I am my fearless co-host is busy tonight. DT sends his regards. Shout out to Granny Rubsick and to his sister Meredith. They shared birthdays, 100 years old for Granny and his sister. So he's got stuff to do tonight. Got other obligations. It's all good. The show must go on. I tell you, man, we are right around the corner from the season, and the reason that I named the episode that I did, you already know, Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia. Our loyal listeners know, man, I get nervous. I get anxious. I get a little bit of anxiety before the season starts. The reason is for the same reason that a lot of us go through it, man. I mean, I want a parade badly, just like the rest of Bills Mafia. I'm not unique with that. One of the most long-suffering franchises in sports history. And if you talk about the NFL, I can't name too many other franchises that have been through it more than us. I mean, I guess you could say Cleveland. I guess you could say Detroit. But we're like all on the same tier. And then maybe you have Minnesota, who I know lost 4 Super Bowls as well below us. But man, we deserve it as a fan base. We deserve it as the Mafia. And when the season gets as close as it is coming up on a week away this Sunday, it's like, man, I'm not necessarily in a pessimistic mood, but I'm in a mood where I just want it so bad that I can taste it. And I just start thinking about all the different variables. Joining me tonight, I need a little bit of help. Listen, man, I love Twitter. DT gets a kick out of that because I was never a social media guy or anything like that. But boy, do I love Twitter. I love like arguing with people. And I guess that's just part of my nature. This is public enemy number one for Nickel City Crew. For me, just my journey on Twitter. And as I started to grow in Twitter and just engaging with the fans and other members of the Mafia and other fan bases as well, man, there's nobody above this cat right here, man. Joining us tonight, my special guest, holla at the crew all the way from Jersey, my man Whittle. You can check him out on Instagram and Twitter at Whittle2K. Whittle, man, holla at the crew, man. Welcome in. I was on your show last month, man. You showed me love. I had to return the favor, man. I appreciate you joining me tonight.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. And shout out to the Nickel City Crew. We're all family here.
That's right.
We all want the same thing at the end of the day. We may disagree about the best path to get there, but ultimately I think we all want to see the Bills be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because I was never, I tell my peoples and my peoples know me, Whittle, I was never a social media guy and a Twitter guy. But when I met you, boy, I met my match. And could we go back and forth and box like Ali and Liston? And I really have enjoyed it because you are a smart football fan and you're, you do care about it a lot and you understand the actual game. And that's what I respect about you most in your takes is because you understand the game. As we tonight, we're going to take a 30,000-foot view as we are on the eve of the season coming up. Whittle, I wanted to talk about defense, offense. We could get to special teams if we need to. I know there's some rumblings about Tyler Bass and some things that we're worried about or may be worried about. But listen, you already know I'm a McDermott. I'll say it. I'm a McDermott hater. I'm not with it. I ain't been with it since 13 seconds, so I can't even lie to my audience. They already know me. They'll pull my card. Got to be true to the brand. When we look at the defensive side of the ball, one of the things that over the offseason you and I disagreed about pretty contentiously was that I felt like Brandon Beane had loaded this guy up, Sean McDermott, in his defense in the past and made different runs at it. This year, you can't even deny it. It was a concerted effort through free agency, the draft, to make sure that McDermott had everything at his disposal that he needed. I'm wondering what you think about, does he have the right mix of players? Because I know one of the things that we all lament coming out of that Kansas City game last year is that we didn't have the horses. And I know injuries played a part, but we just didn't have the blue chips.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, the Bills have fallen short multiple years to pretty much the same team. I mean, it's been 4 losses. I mean, we got this thing in Buffalo with fours, 4 Super Bowls, 4 losses to the Chiefs. James Cook was the toughest free agent Brandon Beane has had.
Number
He
4.
wears number 4. So, I mean, I think we just got this thing with fours, but I do believe that the drought breaker wore number 5. This is probably the 5th time we're going to see Kansas City in the playoffs. So I'm gonna ride with the superstition, man. The drought breaker, Tyrod Taylor, war number 5. I think the 5th time is the charm. We're gonna take Kansas City out. But to the conversation about this offseason. So
And the
over the
defense.
couple of years, over the last couple of years, I've been very heavily invested in the draft. And there were a couple of players that I wanted the Buffalo Bills to take. The first one was Brian Branch. Actually, the first one was Tariq Woolen. That was the first defensive guy saying the Bills should take Tariq Woolen. We ended up taking Kyer Elam in that draft. Tariq Woolen ends up being a better player. I wanted to take Brian Branch. We ended up taking Dalton Kincaid. I think Dalton Kincaid's a fine player. I think Brian Branch is a bit better. He's a better player, and he fits a need that the Bills have. We've been looking for that Micah Hyde replacement since Micah Hyde retired. So since he left. So we've been looking for that replacement. We still haven't found it. And and then last year I wanted the Bills to take Deion Walker. I wanted them to draft Deion Walker. The first time I saw this young man, I said to myself, we don't have that Josh Allen on the defensive side of the football, right?
Okay.
The Chiefs have Mahomes.
Right.
Burrow's got his weapons. Lamar does his thing. But on the opposite side, like Lamar's had Roquan Smith, and then for a year, Justin Madubuike was a dog. Now he's got Kyle Hamilton. He's always had those guys. And then with the Chiefs, you had Tyrann Mathieu at first. You got Chris Jones now. Nick Bolton played a big role in the Super Bowl, recovering that ball from the Eagles and running it back. So Trent McDuffie, he's had guys that are different makers, and even bigger than Trent McDuffie, I would say L'Jarius Sneed, who you just put Sneed on whoever the other team's best receiver is, and you walk away from that guy. That's that. He was clamping people. So I said the Bills need to get those type of players on the defensive side. We don't have that difference maker, right? And I think Christian Benford's really good. Milano's been a difference maker, but Milano's been injured.
Former All-Pro.
Yeah, definitely All-Pro. Exactly. Bernard, I think, has that potential, but again, injuries as well. And we just haven't seemed to have one up front. We have Von Miller. First year we got him. 8.5 sacks in 10 games, and we're like, yo, this is working. Yeah, he was working. And we were on our way. He goes down. Deion Walker, 6'7", 350 pounds, and he's got the feet of a linebacker, bro. You can't teach that type of size, and you can't teach a man that big, and that's what the coaches have been saying. A man that big shouldn't move as well as he does. So, I think over time, maybe over this season, maybe next season as well, you'll see a guy like Deion Walker hopefully grow into his own and be that Josh Allen on the defensive side that we can depend on in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go to just make a play. And you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. We're going to win this game because of that play.
Yeah, it's interesting because I saw some of his tape, obviously from the preseason game against the Giants. He's blowing shit up and things like that, and I enjoyed seeing it. I know that he had a little bit of a back issue at Kentucky. That's why some of the production slipped, and then that's why he slips in the draft. And I know you follow it closer than I do. For 2025 specifically, when you talk about that defensive line that Brandon Beane has now brought in for McDermott, I look at it, and I said it last week, that I'm looking for the baby. Now I'm looking for the baby. I'm looking for the proof that this is a good plan. You already know me. I'm always offense, 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 and I want to keep the foot on the gas. But when it comes to the defense and playoff time, we've had some shortcomings, and obviously injuries play a part in it. And I know that's one of your big, selling points on that point. But McDermott has been supplied now with a rotation that's heavy. It seems to be, the consensus seems to be that it looks like the depth might be better than last year's depth, when it comes to from just so all the way on down. So if you can grant me that, Whittle, then what I would ask you is that what is it for you that you need to see? Because I had heard somebody, I think it was Ben Solek, come on right at the end of training camp, and I talked about it on your space on Twitter, like how he had said that McDermott really doesn't throw curveballs. He doesn't throw changeups. He's going to do what he does. He's relying on his system, bend but don't break, rally to the football, being sound in your fundamentals. You hear that all the time from him. What are there anything that you're going to be looking for aggressiveness wise, or anything like that throughout the regular season that can give you clues to the postseason? Because obviously we're all going to be waiting on the postseason to see how we match up with those upper echelon teams. I'm always going to be leery of him until I see him do it in the playoffs and have a great performance. I know he had a great performance against Lamar that one year during the COVID year. Other than that, his defense has been shredded. Whittle, they really have.
Okay, so my response to that is the 2023 season, right? So if we go back to the 2023 season, we had Jordan Poyer, who clearly had lost, 2 steps at that point.
Right.
Milano was hurt. We lost Daquan Jones for the majority of the season. Trey White, who looked like he was back to, being Trey White in the first 4 games. Then we go to Miami, and then we lose him for, the rest of the year with an Achilles. So I look back at that season and I say, when McDermott decided to take over, as that year went along, you saw them get way more aggressive. You saw them blitz a lot more. You saw them run you saw them run a little bit more when it came to stunts, and relying a little bit more on the slot, and even the back seven in general, like as a unit, to provide some of the pressure on the quarterback. They were, he was blitzing from the corner spot. He was blitzing from the boundary. He was blitzing from the backers. He was blitzing from everywhere. The safeties were coming down. I thought that was what was needed. And I also believe that because Rasul Douglas was as good as he was in 23, and you also had Benford, and you had Taron Johnson, who still was, pretty spry. You could afford to do it because you trusted those guys behind them. You trusted those guys to hold up their rent, so you could be a little more exotic. I just think McDermott rarely has had the pieces to be exotic, and I think this year you have a balance, a really nice balance of, Rousseau's a big guy, and then Bosa's a big guy, but he's got a lot more bend than Rousseau does. And then you have a guy like Solomon and AJ Epinesa, who are vastly different players, but both are effective at, putting a little, when they get an opportunity, putting pressure on the quarterback. Then at the defensive, inside, you got Ed Oliver, who's quick and shoots gaps, and he wins with speed and athleticism, and he's still strong enough to make plays one-on-one. They accompany that, him and Daquan Jones with, like we talked about earlier, Deion Walker, who's, a giant with ballerina feet. And then you have TJ Sanders, who gets ready for the games listening to NBA Youngboy. And, he's a violent pass rusher, very good against the run. And you saw that when he was in South Carolina. I think when you have all of those things up front, you still have the coverage of Milano, Terrell Bernard, and then I think Shaq Thompson is an underrated addition to this team, because much like the other 2 guys, I do, because much like the other 2 guys that I named, he's extremely good at coverage. He's very fast. I think he's more violent than Milano, which is kind of crazy because I think Milano's a very violent linebacker, but he's extreme. Like Shaq Thompson is extremely violent. I can't wait to see him in action. You still got Dorian Williams.
Right.
And, Joe Andreessen, those guys are learning. But then in the secondary,
I was
Maxwell
just going to ask
Harrison.
you about the secondary. I was just
Oh
going to ask
God,
you
bro.
about it.
I was one of the biggest Taylor Rapp detractors. I didn't want him here. I was wrong. He's been a linchpin in that backfield
Right. The
at the
yeah,
safety
defensive.
spot.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Taron Johnson, I think, is still a very good football player. I mean, Christian Benford is a top 10 corner. Like, I don't care what ESPN rankings say or whatever. He's a top 10 corner. All the metrics back it up. And when you watch him, play, like, you could check the box for whoever he's covering is not going to have a great day. That's how that goes. They drafted Maxwell Harrison. That was the guy that I'm very excited about. Now, he
I
wasn't my
was
top
too.
pick.
I was
My
too.
top pick was Trey Amos,
Okay.
but I'm good with Harrison. Harrison ran like a
He's so
4.29.
damn fast. Thank you. He's so
Right.
fast. He's so
And that
fast.
allows you to cheat. It allows you to cheat. Like he can really once he gets the understanding of the corner position in the NFL,
Right.
he's going to bait quarterbacks into throwing balls that they think are open. So receivers that they think are open, and he's just going to make plays on the football, if not take it away. So
I love it.
that strong safety, I mean, the free safety spot is the one that worries me,
It's
right?
got
Cole
to.
Bishop, Cole Bishop,
I'm not with
you
him,
know,
man. I haven't been with him. I haven't. And one of the things that scares me the most about him is because of the fact that, and we could tie it into this, to the Poyer news. It's not necessarily that he got burnt, in the Houston game, and then I just wrote him off. Now I was mad at that play, and I can admit that. But after that, it took him a long time to finally ramp up, in my opinion.
yeah,
Now, towards the end of the year, yes, he was playing some better ball and things like that. So what I expected was that based on the fact that the way that he ended last season, I thought that listen, this is your job. It's handmade to
yep,
you. We brought back Hamlin as insurance, but this is your job. We're ready to give it to you. And because of that, when I'm seeing him make mistakes in the preseason, I understand. Like I have a low tolerance for it because of the fact that his injury history makes it where every rep is more important. Everything
yes.
is just heightened. Everything about you needs to be really, really crisp and really, really on point. And I hadn't seen that in the preseason. I know the preseason pledge, stuff like that, we're all supposed to take it, but I'm not encouraged by what I've seen from him so far. And this beginning of this offseason in the preseason, it didn't quell anything. And then they bring in, Jordan, we could talk about it in a second, but I'm not a believer in Bishop, and I'm hoping that it doesn't bite us in the ass.
So I am, and I'm because I'm not going to go off of what he did in the
The back end.
preseason because I mean it's preseason.
I understand.
My lasting impression of Cole Bishop is what we saw in the game against Kansas City. And I think he was the best. He was the best. He was the best. He was the best guy in secondary on the field for the
Okay.
Buffalo Bills that day.
Okay.
So I got to go with that and trust that with the rest of the starters around him,
Hmm.
he starts off the season with let me just do enough to not make a mistake, and then grows into
Let me make
let me
plays.
try to make some plays. Right,
Yeah, let me
right.
make plays.
Now,
Mhm.
where you're worried about safety, I'm worried about Christian Benford hasn't been practicing. Trey
Right.
White has an injury that they've been very cagey about.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's the
And
offseason. They're not going to tell you nothing. I mean, he could be good. He could be ready to go week one. They're not going to tell you shit.
I'll be honest, I like Dorian Strong in the draft process. Wasn't one of the picks that I really wanted, but he hasn't looked great either at corner. I think the best corner outside of the top three, I mean, outside of the top three guys, Hairston, Benford, and Trey White. I think the best corner has been Jamarcus Ingram. So, you know,
Interesting. Interesting.
I think he's been the best. He
So then
has to
how
me, yeah,
worried would you be that so would you throw him out there if Trey misses week one? That would be your pick?
absolutely.
Okay, so that would
Week
be your pick
one,
over Strong, over
yes,
isn't Jackson on the practice squad now again? Okay.
I would, yes. I
Okay.
think I think it's between him. Obviously, it's between him and Strong, but I trust more that Jamarcus Ingram's been here. He's been in this system. He knows, and he's a sound tackler. Like he doesn't miss a ton of tackles. And you're playing against the Ravens. They want to
Right.
run the football. So you got to have a guy out there that's willing to stick his nose in the muck and get dirty.
Yeah.
That's a guy like Jamarcus Ingram.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because if Trey is out, and I think that's one of the false things that and DT brought it up. My co-host brought it up last week was that he was like, "Listen, man, I was never expecting much out of Trey anyway." And the fact that Harrison goes down and then Trey goes down, he's like, I can only get so upset about it." I look at it as Zay Flowers. I understand that Hopkins is on the back end, but you've got Lamar throws the ball. He's got some weapons. I don't want it to be a situation where they're carving us up or they're picking on. I never like it when a quarterback finds that matchup on the outside boundary and he's just picking on our corners, kind of like they were doing Elam last year with Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. I mean, you could tell that Elam wasn't ready for the moment and they were just picking on him. I don't want to see that week 1 to start the season because, it could turn out that this is a big game with AFC, number 1 seed implications. So I want to get off on the right foot. I'm hoping that Trey White is okay. I don't know if he is, but I don't necessarily want to see Jamarcus Ingram out there with him. I don't necessarily want to see Dane Jackson out there or even Dorian. I mean, was Dorian the 6th round pick? I mean, if he earns it, he earns it. That's how you get Benford is off of meritocracy. But man, I would just feel more comfortable if it was Trey. He knows the system. Not too many kinks, but I do like Jamarcus Ingram's his physical tools. I mean, he's long, rangy. I do like all of that type of stuff.
That to me is first off, the wide receivers are not the features for the.
No, I didn't say feature. I just if they pick apart a matchup and we're stopping the run, then they might go to the air.
But if we stop the run, right?
Right.
We make them one, and the more this is a real fact. The more Lamar throws, the less likely he is to play well, or less likely the Ravens are to win. So, I kind of want him throwing the football more. And
he had a great year last year with him. He had a great year last year throwing the ball.
Listen, yeah, he did, and they also had an 1,800-yard rusher in Derrick Henry, and I don't think we're afraid. I know the Buffalo Bills played Derrick Henry pretty well. Like he's had a couple of big games against us, but for the most part, we've seen him 7 or 8 times at this point. He's got like 2. Mm-hmm. He's got like 2. Yeah, he's got like 2 good games against us. So I mean, whatever. Listen, and this is the other thing. That Baltimore offensive line, they've got solid tackles. I like Rosengarten, and Staley's been there for a very long time. He's a bona fide All-Pro level tackle. And Linderbaum, a little undersized, but he's still one of the better centers in the NFL.
He is.
Their guards, though, Daniel Falele's terrible. Like he has not played well for them, and the other guy, like it's a mixture of like Andrew Voorhees and I want to say Ben Cleveland, who hasn't played well either. Like I think those are the areas that the Bills can take advantage. Rosengarten is in his 2nd year, so he's going to go up against Rousseau, who's going into his 5th, and he's going up against Bosa or AJ Epinesa. I think I like my guys over Rosengarten over a 60-minute game. And then when you talk about the interior, you got TJ Sanders and I like seeing him in preseason. I liked him. He's so violent. And this is the thing, like I've always said this to the Bills Mafia on Twitter and the spaces and stuff like that. I said, man, look, I'm tired of these nice guys, man. I want a couple of demons out there. Yeah. So they asked, TJ Sanders, like, oh, what do you listen to get yourself ready for a game? He said, probably some NBA young boy. And I'm like, NBA young boy, like, oh, this guy's perfect. He's perfect. So the combination of those guys, I think Daquan Jones early on is going to be fine because the season's just started, so he should be fresh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ed Oliver is who he is. We love Ed.
We sure do.
But then you add Deion Walker and TJ Sanders, and God forbid they activate Jordan Phillips, who also. Jordan Phillips is
a maniac.
He's a very nice guy, but he's a monster
on the field.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
Bro, I love our chances. I really, really like our chances.
So the defense, you feel like you're in great hands. You feel like we're getting ready to see a more aggressive look. We heard T on there. Shout out T Estelle and her Not Your Average podcast in the 716 with Big Mike. You saw her question and said McDermott's defense is not a bend but don't break anymore. So you're subscribing to that same line of thinking that we're getting ready to see a more aggressive approach because of the fact that he finally has the tools to implement some of the things that he might have done, Philadelphia under the late Jim Johnson, and then Carolina under Ron Rivera. Okay. I might
look at the last. Well, Rob, look at the last. What 4 Super Bowl teams? The last 4 Super Bowl winners. You got the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
and the Chiefs,
and the Los Angeles Rams,
and the Rams.
Right?
Yeah.
Aaron Donald, Vita Vea, Jalen Carter, Chris Jones. You ask any quarterback, what type of pressure do you hate the most? Oh, that interior
the one
pressure.
right in my face. The one right in my face.
Ed Oliver, TJ Sanders, Deion Walker going up against Daniel Falele and whatever they're putting at the other guard spot. I love, and again, Linderbaum is small. He's like 6'3", like 290. He's a smaller center.
But not just on the Baltimore matchup. You have faith in McDermott and this unit throughout the regular season leading into the playoffs.
Oh, not the whole regular season. No, the first 6 weeks. What are we doing? We got up until week 1 is the Ravens. After that, you got the Jets with Justin Fields at quarterback. They could have Jerry Rice at receiver, and it wouldn't matter to me because Justin Fields can't throw the football. Week 3 is Miami. I mean, Miami and they're in Buffalo.
Correct.
Who cares? Like that's a win. Week 4, the Saints. Who? Who's the quarterback? What's up, Cat? Listen. If you ever challenge me to something Bills related and you want to get the numbers involved, if you challenge me on that, I'm calling that guy right there, Kevin Masiri. I'm going to DM him, and he's gonna get back to me in 0.5 seconds with some numbers that are going to make your head spin. All right, so you leave me alone because I got that guy in my corner.
Oh,
all right, but no, listen, the first 6 weeks, bro, I'm not worried, man. Like I'm really not. Atlanta is probably Atlanta, I guess, is the toughest team outside of the Ravens that we have to face. So yeah, I'm
cool. You chill.
The Patriots line stinks. The Patriots line stinks. We got them week 5. I think if we beat the Ravens week 1, there is no reason this team should not go into the bye undefeated.
Wow. As we begin to transition tonight's episode is presented by Taste of Buffalo Pizzeria down here in Charlotte in the Huntersville suburb. Listen, check them out. Our girl over there, Jen Pataglia, and her family are doing a great job. Listen, I'm always lamenting missing the Buffalo food. I'm always jealous of DT, how he gets a chance to just get his hands on all that good food and pizza, wings, and subs. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, if you're down here in Charlotte, we know Bills Mafia runs deep. We're getting ready to represent later in the year when the Bills travel down here to Charlotte to face the Panthers. Listen, if you need to feel like you're back at home, you want some good, nice, thick dough pizza, you want some good wings, you want some good subs, check out tasteofbuffalopizzeria.com. Check them out. My girl Jen Battaglia over there, they're doing a great job. Listen, they are the number 1 spot for anybody that misses their Buffalo food. Now, as we transition, Whittle, Kevin just kind of got me, he kind of got me going. I don't know why I let him feed into me. Whatever the case may be, when I saw, he said, Whittle versus Rob. Listen, offense is what we have always argued about, and that is how our Twitter relationship was formed and bonded. As we flip the side of the ball, I think that you already know my approach is that because of my lack of faith in McDermott in big game situations for his defense, and he's a defensive coach. My approach is that I've always wanted Josh Allen to be led by an offensive coordinator as his head coach. Now, obviously, we know Terry Pegula is not firing anybody. We know the Sabres are a shit show. They're a dumpster fire. We already know that. We've talked about that many, many times on Nickel City Crew. So, having said that, this is what we have. You and I boxed about Everybody Eats last year. I took a not a loss, but I got knocked down, but I'm back up after the standing 8 count. Listen, this is round 2. I have promised Nickel City Crew, Whittle. I know you don't listen to every episode. I promised Nickel City Crew I will shut the fuck up if they do it again with this approach. Now, you kind of pulled my bag. It was a couple of months ago, and we was hollering back and forth at each other on your Twitter space, and you said, Rob, you are just mad because it doesn't look how you want it to look. And I might have,
Right.
hollered back and barked back at you that night. But after I signed off, and the next days and weeks afterward, I was thinking about it. I was like, is it an aesthetics thing?
He's right.
As I said, is it an
Yeah.
aesthetic thing? Is it just that I don't like how it looks and it's not familiar to me? I am always so fond of the Stefon Diggs, Josh Allen area, and you already know that. And just Brian Dable and what he was doing and how he was throwing the ball all over the field and 19 passes to start a game, one game. I mean, I was with all of it because of the fact that it doesn't look the way that I want it to look. Last year, I was resisting that it would be able to work. Now we know that it's able to work. Widow, I'm putting you on the spot, man. I'm standing up. You knocked me down last year. Bills Mafia, everybody eats t-shirt riders. Y'all knocked me down. I'm standing back up. Y'all got to do it one more time. You got to knock me down one more time. Is this shit getting ready to work again? Talk to me, man.
If Keon Coleman is healthy, I think we've got a great chance of having 2 receivers hit 1,000 yards this year. I think Khalil Shakir. Listen, this is if.
Oh my God.
Joe Brady was telling the truth and said that he's going to move. He's not relegating any receiver to a certain alignment. He said we plan on moving these guys around, and I think
positionless
Khalil Shakir on the outside is going to really, really be a problem for somebody.
Really? You think he's like
I challenge you.
St. Brown?
Go back. When I first saw Khalil Shakir play for the Buffalo Bills, like when I watched him over his rookie year, and he didn't really get a ton of opportunities. And then that Miami playoff game, right? They threw him a ball. They threw him a deep ball, and he didn't catch it or whatever. It might have been intercepted. Because he bobbled it or something. He might have just dropped it. They went back to him, and the catch that he made through contact, like acrobatic catch, and I said, this kid could be the Stefon Diggs replacement. And I truly, truly believe his hands are more reliable than Stefon Diggs' hands ever were. I think he's underrated as a route runner. Listen, you pull up the numbers. Pull up the numbers. Pull up the numbers and pull up the film. I promise you.
Okay.
Through traffic, it doesn't matter. Contact, the man catches the football. He catches the football. Doesn't matter where you throw it. If he can get his hands on it, there's a 70 to 75% chance he's going to come down with the football. Leaping grabs, sideline diving, in traffic, crunched in between guys. He catches the football. He's an excellent route runner as well. I think he's an excellent route runner.
Stefon Diggs was a route technician.
I think Khalil Shakir gives the opportunity.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm standing on that. On that. His hands are ridiculous. They're ridiculous.
I heard you.
Joshua Palmer last year ranked 8th in the NFL in success rate against man coverage. So when you get a guy like that, Joshua Palmer is a route technician. Like that's the thing. He's not a blazing speed guy. He's not, super physical.
He only get up to top 3 with San Diego. Why? With the Chargers? Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes you just need, and he's one of those guys where you've been waiting for him to take that next step. Maybe he takes it with Josh, like we saw with Gabe. Like Gabe Davis is never going to look as good anywhere else the way he did with Josh Allen, right? That's just sometimes that's what a guy needs, and a guy needs a force multiplier to play with, and his skill level raises. So I think Josh Palmer is going to have a really good year. I think he's going to be the reliable boundary guy that Josh Allen's that we've been looking for since Emmanuel Sanders left. Like that's when I look at this team, I see Joshua Palmer, Emmanuel Sanders 2.0. Stefon Diggs, Khalil Shakir. Like I think
he's not an outside receiver. Why you keep wanting to put him on the outside? He's a slot.
I don't think Shakir is as talented
Right, but he's not
as
even gonna play on the outside like Steph did all the
he
time.
is going to play on the outside. I think he is going to
A
play on the
lot
outside
more?
this
That'll
year.
be a
I think
lot
it's going to
more.
be a lot more. I think it's going to be a lot more because you want to take advantage of you want to take advantage of the mismatches that you can have. You bring a guy like Shavers in,
But
you can
he's
put Shavers
small.
in the slot.
But he's
Shavers,
small to play on the no, Shakir's small to play on the outside. That's what I'm saying. Like, you think he's like
how
Amon
tall
Ra
you think?
St.
How tall
Brown?
you think Shakir is?
I mean, he's like Amon Ra St. Brown. They about the same height, aren't they?
6 feet.
6 foot, right? Yeah. What's
Yeah.
Amon Ra? 5'11"? I
How,
just don't think
how
the
tall
two
is
of them.
Stephon
I
Diggs?
think of Amon Ra as way more explosive than Shakir. So that's why I'm always pigeonhole him into the slot. Maybe that's my mistake then, and I'll see something different.
I don't think you should. I think you should look at Shakir as a guy who can function inside and outside. I think he's a dog, bro. I mean, I really do. And
Curtis Samuel.
I hope Brady gives Bills fans an opportunity to see that this year.
Curtis Samuel, if he can stay healthy, what's his ceiling?
You saw what he did when he was healthy in the playoffs. You
Yeah,
saw what
did.
he brought to the table. Go watch him in Washington. When we played Washington in 23, the
Mhm.
only receiver that got off was Samuel. That's the only one. Nobody else got off of him. He was the only guy.
Elijah Moore.
We gotta
Are you
see.
feel good about that too?
I like Elijah Moore. Listen, the talent level, we had the number 2 offense in scoring last year. The talent level of this wide receiver room, and last year everybody said we may have a bottom five wide receiver group, and they might have been right. But this
Mhm.
year, the
This
talent
year,
level, like you can't deny the talent level
I
is
think
much
it's
higher
better.
than what
It's
it was
better
last
than
year.
it's
Yeah.
better than last year. I'm not going to lie about
So
that.
come on.
I don't. I mean, Elijah Moore. I don't know. So Dalton Kincaid, we're ready. You're ready to take center stage, correct? I mean, I know it's everybody eats, but when am I going to get the baby on that draft pick? Brandon Bean, Joe Brady. I know the
That
man that
wasn't
was very
one of my
influential in
yeah.
drafting him. Ken Dorsey is gone, but I mean, we got to make do with what we got. I mean, he was who you picked, right? What's up? This should be it, right?
Listen, Josh Allen specifically asked for Keon Coleman. I'm expecting big things from Keon this year. 40 to 50 catches, 800 to more yards. I think he's going to have more than 7 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a very big year. Very big. I like Keon a
I
lot.
like him too.
Like
I like him
a
too.
lot.
So you
So,
think
yeah.
do you think the maturity is coming together? I heard somebody talking about how
Oh,
he's more
yeah.
intentional with his route running this camp, things like that.
Yeah.
So you think it's all coming together for him?
Yeah. Um he's learning how to use his body to create natural separation without like pushing off. Like he doesn't need to push off. He just has to run his route certain ways, and he's been doing that in practices and and scrimmages and things like that. I mean, obviously we got to see it. We got to see it when the bullets are real on
Right.
Sundays, right? We got to see it then. But I thought he was coming into his own before he
The
got knocked
injury.
out of that Miami game.
The
And
injury.
if he, if what's been reported by Alex Brasky and
Mhm.
many others.
Right.
One of my guys, one of my friends, went to the
To camp.
to the training camp. Yeah, and he sent me probably 30 text messages while he was there. He was like, "Bro, Keon is everything you said he is. He's gonna have 1,000 yards." I'm like, "All right, slow down. I don't know about a
Right, right,
thousand, but
right, right, right.
listen, Keon's a load once he gets the ball in his hands. You
Yeah.
remember how they used to use John Brown? They would run John Brown on, 10 yard,
Pigs.
comeback routes.
Mhm.
Well, and John Brown would step out of bounds before he took a big hit. Well, now you get the ball in the Keon's hand. What corner? What? How many corners in the NFL are going to be able to just take him down at 6'3", 215 pounds?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You know,
absolutely right. Yeah, that's true. I'm hoping for big things from Keon because I'm definitely a Keon fan for sure. I liked his tape at Florida State. I like that he had the basketball background. So
Yep.
I'm hoping that he gets it together in respects to, like I said, I thought that I talked about it last week. I think it's intentional that Josh Allen has been passing him and feeding him the rock in training camp. I think that he's trying to artificially, get his progression and kind of move it along in respects to building confidence, letting him know, get that swag that he knows that he is that dude and that he can be that. I am not, I'm still holding my breath on Kincaid. I don't know really. I don't know much about that in that respect. I'm not, I know that a lot of Bills Mafia loves them and is ready for a breakout. They're expecting a breakout. I'm not going to hold my breath on that personally. But it'll be interesting. Everybody eats. The funny thing that I used to say about it was that, when you talk about everybody eats, it's usually a thing that shitty teams say to kind of mask the fact that they don't have an elite receiver, an elite pass catching weapon. I feel like the Bills last year, what they did was they showed, Mac Hollins leading the team with touchdown. They showed that Josh Allen he is the tide that can lift all boats. So because of that, if you give him, some better boats, then maybe we can go ahead and do something really special. So we'll see on that. Now in the backfield, James Cook, gets his bag, and we were excited about that because I thought that he deserved it. I thought he at least deserved a raise. And my main thing was that I wanted positive vibes for the season. I wanted everything in the locker room to just be positive. I didn't want him to be disgruntled. No, it doesn't mean that he's not going to try for a third down run. No, it doesn't mean he's going to duck out of bounds all the time, or anything like that necessarily. But I'd already been down that. We have already been down that road, Bills Mafia, with Stephon Gilmore and stuff like that. And is he making business decisions after the game? Stuff like that. You're questioning those things. I wanted positive vibes. I'm happy that Cook is back. Regardless of what you feel about the contract, how do you feel about the fit? Because I think that he is just a perfect complement to Josh Allen in this offensive line.
I love it. And every Batman needs a Robin. And I don't want to pigeonhole Cook as some sort of sidekick, because I think he's capable. We've seen him carry this offense when the offense has been struggling. Again, I'm going to go back to 2023 against the Cowboys. I think Josh Allen threw the ball 12 times, 12 or 14 times that game. Mm-hmm. And Cook literally destroyed the Dallas Cowboys. Cook destroyed the Miami Dolphins last year. I think that was week 2. Mm-hmm. He had 3 touchdowns or something like that, 1 in the air and a couple on the ground. And he's a threat of a house call every time he touches the ball. One thing I loved about Devin Singletary, we call him Motor. One thing I loved about Motor was he could make you miss in a phone booth. He was so shifty once he got the ball in his hands and he got out in space. He just didn't have that
the explosiveness,
turbo pack.
Yeah.
But James Cook is every bit as shifty, and he's a better receiver, and he's got the turbo pack on his back, right? He has it. So absolutely. I just think it's so dangerous when you have that type of home run threat next to Josh Allen, who by himself is a home run threat. And then you have receivers who are reliable, like Keon. One of Keon's better traits is his hands. And same thing with Shakir. Dawson Knox makes great acrobatic catches over his tenure here, and Josh Allen's got a great rapport with him. I'm expecting Tyrell Shavers to play a role this year as well, with him, finally making the 53. And when he gets the opportunity, I expect him to play well. Curtis Samuel, we've seen what he can do when he's healthy, and all of these guys, Ty Johnson, we've got tons of weapons. So I expect this offense to be top 3 again. Why wouldn't it be?
Well, thank you for giving me my perfect segue as we begin to wrap up tonight, because it's been probably the thing that I've been standing on the hill the highest. After I got to at least be quiet about everybody eats, and I got to let it play out for another year. The one thing that I have shouted to all of Bills Mafia, and I have reminded them right here on Nickel City Crew, our listeners know, listen, the turnover battle both ways, that's offense and defense, was a factor. I think that the defense getting the ball back for the offense in short fields were some of the reasons why you can boast, and Brandon Beane can come on WGR and talk shit and say, we scored 30 points a game. I understand the stat. However, that stat is aided by the fact that you had a lot of turnovers, third in the league with over 30, and then you had some short fields to go along with that. That's how that Miami game gets out of hand. That's how that Jacksonville game gets out of hand. Whittle, listen, if you are, and you are logical, because that's why I brought you on this show, and that's why I love going back and forth with you when we argue. If you and I can agree and tell Bills Mafia that it's safe to say that we should not expect on the offensive side of the football to have 8 turnovers in a 17-game season? Will you extend me that that leeway to at least admonish the Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, coast to coast audience? Can we at least tell our audiences that we should not expect 8 turnovers? It was historically low, Bills Mafia. Please do not let anybody lie to you on these spaces and tell you that this is something that is easily, being able to be replicated. 8 turnovers for the entire 17-game season. I think we lost 3 fumbles all season. In the playoffs, Josh fumbled 4 times in one game against Kansas City. We got them all back. The ball is oblong, Whittle. Will you go with me out on that limb? Can we at least tell the fans that they should not expect 8 turnovers in an entire season? That has to change, right? And come back to the mean, correct? Yes, no? Are you with me or not? Come on. I want you to be authentic. Because if you think
okay, I am. This is the second full year
of everybody
in this system.
Everybody,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Better talent at wide receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Better route running. More reliable receivers. Offensive line still good. Brought back everybody.
Right.
The talent, the secondary, yes.
Okay.
I do think that they can take more chances this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills will take more chances this year offensively, and that means that turnovers. I think that they may have more turnovers. However,
they
may have. No, I'm expecting them to have. I'm expecting them to turn the ball over more. I'm expecting them to turn the ball over around 12 to 15 times as an offense,
like a normal team would. Yes, of course. Okay,
but if these wide receivers. Listen, you got to hear me out on this. If these wide receivers are as advertised,
okay,
and Dalton Kincaid takes a step forward,
okay,
Josh Allen may have less interceptions than he had last year. It's possible, because would you ever think that Lamar Jackson would throw for as many touchdowns as he threw for and only have 4 interceptions? Well, I never thought Lamar would have that type of
credit. I mean, you wanted to talk shit about him in the beginning of the episode. I give him credit because I think he's a good passer now. I think his game is evolved.
Who do you think's the better passer? Josh
Allen is, but that doesn't have anything to do with turnovers. Sometimes the ball gets tipped at the line. Sometimes there's pressure in your face. Sometimes, just we shouldn't expect it. Like 8 turnovers.
Okay, I'm not saying expected. I'm not saying expected, but it could teeter either way. Can we agree at that?
No,
let's look at the factors. Okay, let's look at the factors. Let's look at the factors.
8 or less again? Hell no.
Let's look at the factors. Let's look at the factors based on the facts that you presented. You ready?
Yes, sure. That it's random sometimes. Yes.
Who's the better passer, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Of course, Josh Allen.
Who's got a better offensive line, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Josh Allen. Yes.
The offensive coordinator between the two, they've been there the same amount of time.
Correct. Yes, Todd Monken just started the same year Brady did.
Okay. All right.
What does that have to do with the wide receiver running a wrong route or they not being on the same page? And I mean, I just think turnovers are way more random and have a bit of luck to them that a lot of fans, and that's NFL fans, don't always like to attribute to. They want to think that their team is buttoned up and we're doing things the right way. And who can I blame on this play? This play, I can blame the guard. He missed his block. I can blame the wide receiver. He ran a wrong route. I can blame someone. Sometimes the shit is just random. And I don't know. I just think that we should not expect 8 turnovers or less. I think we got extremely lucky.
I agree with you. I think that the Bills will turn it over more this year. But if they didn't and they turned it over less, it wouldn't surprise me either. Because the offensive line for the Bills has been so good, and Josh is so good at avoiding pressure. James Cook is paid. Ray Davis is in year 2. Ty Johnson, they brought him back because of what he can do as a receiver and a pass protector. The tight ends right now are healthy. I think we've upgraded at tight end 3 with the young man Hawes that we brought in over Quentin Morris.
He's a blocker.
Yeah,
Quentin Games in the passing game, but he's a blocker.
So now, instead of having 6 offensive linemen, you can have 2 tight ends
and at least have the threat
and 5 offensive linemen. that creates another wrinkle where you can leak the tight end out. You can leak tight end two out for a little easy, over the top pass when they're committing to the run, and you open yourself up to big plays with a lot less
Risk.
risk.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you mitigate your risk by being more multiple, by raising the level of talent. We scored 30 a game with what we had last year. Wow.
Correct.
I mean, these guys are better. This is a better team than what we had last year. And we're going to get to the pass. I believe
And then
we're going to
and then
get to
on the
the pass.
defensive side of the ball, we took the ball away a hell of a ton too. That can't. I mean, now you had a stat for me about Sean McDermott
Oh,
and
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
defenses. So give it to my audience because we fought about that
Oh,
on
we're
Twitter. And
top.
I said, well,
The,
you
the,
should
Bill- the
expect
Bills
you
have
should
been
expect
top
them to take
five.
the ball away as many
The
times.
Bills have been top five,
You
and
know,
the Bills defense has been top five in takeaways for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. Top five. With
mhm.
every year, McDermott's defense takes the ball away like 27 times or better. Every single year. That does not change.
Mm.
It doesn't matter. You change the personnel, injuries, it doesn't matter. Those guys still take the ball away because they're coached to. Every time you see Poyer going for a tackle, he's trying to punch at the football. Terry Johnson
Bernard.
punching at the football.
Hmm.
Bernard punching at the football. Like we saw it in the divisional game last year. The divisional against the Chiefs, Rashee Rice punched at the football. Benford, no. I'm
That's
sorry.
all pro polo.
That wasn't the divisional game. That was the regular season game.
Oh, regular
Punched at the
season.
football, took the ball away from Rashee Rice. Like they're coached to do this stuff. Now you've added a guy like Bosa who can get to the quarterback, and now you have bigger, better, younger, more athletic, hungrier guys at
On the
defensive
interior.
tackle who are
Hmm.
going to get after the quarterback. You don't think they're going to be swiping at the football? They brought Ryan Nielsen in for a reason. Go look at what Ryan Nielsen did with that New Orleans defense, that defensive line with New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like go look at those numbers when he was down there coaching. Like I
Yeah.
mean they were one of the best defensive lines in the league.
Interesting. Listen, I don't even know if my audience is used to this much optimism when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. Widow is feeling good about it. I'm not going to try to rain on his parade at all. Listen, tonight, I really appreciate you guys, joining in tonight. It's a TGIF Friday. You could be doing anything with your Friday nights, and we really appreciate it. Listen, I'm gonna give you a chance to plug it. Listen, Widow, short notice. I know we tried to link up a couple weeks ago and then made it happen for this week. But listen, plug your stuff. This is the co-host of the Coast to Coast podcast. Plug your joint, man. Shout out to Beyond 716, man. Plug your stuff, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You can find me on socials, Instagram. I'm not on there as much as I should be, but I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Whittle2K, WHITTLE, the number 2, the letter K. Coast to Coast podcast. We're on YouTube. You can find the links to the podcast on my Twitter profile. We're on YouTube every Wednesday night at like 9 p.m. We go live. What we try to do there is we bring the other 31 teams to the Buffalo Bills fan base. We bring representatives from those other teams in, and we try to make sure that we have a working knowledge from the other side of what the other team is good at, is great at, so that we have a more educated fan base. We don't just think that our team's the greatest and nobody else is got anything on us. These other teams are good too. They have fans too, and let's learn. Let's learn about the other teams as well. So we're more educated football fan base.
Yeah, man, and I think that I don't think I know that that's the number one thing that I appreciate about your takes as much as we used to argue. And we still do. We go back and forth on the spaces and on Twitter. But one of the things that I definitely respect about you, again, you know your ball. You're not hyperbolic in
Thank you.
respect to your takes and things like that. They're always well thought out in respects to how you feel about the way that you feel. And listen, we're all able to have our own opinions. That's what makes being a fan fun, is that you have your own opinion. How can the team improve? Different things like that. That's literally the impetus and the origin of why I started Nickel City Crew. I would talk to myself in my head about the Bills and what they could do different. And I'm like, man, I got to stop talking to myself. I got to get these Bills thoughts, out there in the ether. So I'm really, really excited. I really appreciate your time tonight. I know, again, it's a TGI Friday. So I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Listen, Nickel City Crew, DT and I will be back next week. We've got it ready for you. Shout out to Queen City Vintage. They'll be sponsoring our giveaways again this year. We are really excited to link up with them. So we are going to have a giveaway next week to get ready for that Baltimore game. I mean, listen, Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia, before you blink, it's going to be kicking off on Thursday. And all of a sudden, and that's why I named the episode the way that it did, is just that when that season and that ball kicks off on Thursday, Cowboys and Eagles, you really are, it's going to hit you guys like an avalanche. Like, man, in a couple of days, we are getting ready to get down. And I can't wait for the 2025 season. I know DT feels the same way. I know Whittle does as well. I know all of you in Bills Mafia can't wait. Whittle, what final thought? What were your thoughts on the icy jerseys? You like it? You cop one in September next month? I mean, what do you think of it? Are you a fan of
alternates? Oh yeah, I'm getting the Josh Allen joint, man. I'm definitely getting the Josh Allen joint for sure.
I love it. Yeah,
I like them, man. I like them.
Yeah, they real clean, man. I liked it. I saw some intricate detail that I missed the other night on the shoulder pads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that looked cool too. So I think it'll be a cool look. It would be better, obviously, if it was in the snow. It shouldn't be that cold or snowing in October. But hey, you never know in Western New York. So we'll see. But listen, out there, listen, spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Hit them with a Go Bills, Whittle. I appreciate you, man. Hit them with a Go Bills.
I even know what it is, man. Go Bills. Let's go. 13 wins, baby. At least.
I love it. Super Bowl appearance. We're going to represent the conference. You want me to get back to you after?
Come on, man. Do birds fly? This is the year. We open a new stadium with a banner. Let's get it done. I love it. No excuses for McDermott this year. Let's get it done.
Now, you ain't never gonna get an argument out of me about that one. You ain't never lied about that. Listen, out there, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. We've got the Labor Day weekend, and we really do appreciate you guys tonight. Be safe out there.